Hi guys, so it's May the 12th and we're looking out for a volcano, particularly Kilauea, to erupt between now and May the 15th, also generating a tsunami, a possible earthquake as well that will affect the west coast. On May the 10th, the governor of Hawaii asked Donald Trump to declare major disaster to enable federal funding for Hawaii. And it just so happens that today, May the 12th, Donald Trump has declared a disaster for Hawaii, thereby enabling federal funding. Scientists are saying at the moment that the volcano is potentially due for a major eruption, warning the residents that there would be little to no time to evacuate, so they really should do so now. Things are lining up, and in relation to a possible tsunami coming between now and the 15th, Alaska received a false tsunami warning on TV and radio just yesterday, or today, 7 hours ago. No, that would be today, I think it was. So many Alaskan residents were mistakenly warned on TV and on the radio Friday, so that was yesterday, Friday morning, of a tsunami threat along the west coast of the United States from San Diego to Alaska, Aleutian Islands. The alert said at the end of a nearly 2-minute long message that it was a test, but not all listeners and viewers received that information. The National Warning Center said that there was no threat. It said the message was a routine test sent at about 7 a.m. I don't know if that's just a coincidence that the day before, May the 12th, where we're looking at for something happening with this volcano, they get this full tsunami alert on the west coast. And today, May the 12th, where we're looking for something to happen with this volcano leading up to the 15th, Donald Trump declares Hawaii a disaster, or basically the Big Island a disaster, to enable federal funding for the island. Is it all a coincidence that it's happening at this time? Oh, I don't think so. But we'll see from now till May the 15th. The 15th particularly looking like the date of the tsunami. So from the 12th to the 15th, something must happen with this volcano. It must, build up and possibly erupt between that time. As I said, we'll see. In other news, or it's all connected, but the alleged attack on Israel by Iran is claiming was a false flag. They're not claiming that Israel done it, but they're saying that they didn't do it. So if they didn't do it, and we take them at their word, which some of you may and some of you may not, that leaves two other potential culprits, which would be Syria and Russia. Take what you want from that, but whether it was a false flag or not, the result was the same. Israel attacking, again, Iranian bases in Syria or Iranian targets in Syria. And that just leads up to Iran now saying that they're basically to pursue nuclear enrichment. And this is obviously after Donald Trump declared the US out of the Iran nuclear deal on May the 8th. So Iran will prepare for industrial scale production of nuclear fuel, even as it seeks guarantees from other countries to honor the Iran deal despite the recent United States withdrawal from the agreement. Now, I find this report interesting because as we get down a little bit further, it says Russian President Vladimir Putin has spoken to German Chancellor Angela Merkel and Turkey's President Recep Erdogan about how to save the 2015 agreement with Iran, according to Russia's official press agency. Putin has long advocated for a new financial system with China that would circumvent the reach of the US sanctions, which also target his country. So the lining up of the fall of the dollar to be replaced by the yuan is already in motion. We know that China's already positioned itself on the oil market, ready to buy and sell in the yuan, and to get other countries to do that as well. We know that Saudi Arabia, who is Saudi Arabia, who exports the most to China, would most likely switch over to the yuan if there were signs that the dollar was, collapsing. And the fall of the market by 666 this year foretells that, I think it it tells us that this year the market is going to collapse. People are going to start investing in the yuan, buying and trading oil in the yuan. We've already seen oil prices climb incredibly high, especially in relation to this Iran nuclear deal. So again, everything's lined up. Even in the video, in the iPad Go video, the scene with the oil dripping, excuse me, could be a sign of, you know, oil demand slowing down in relation to the United States or in relation to the dollar and moving on, you know, to a different currency, which certain other countries are advocating and prepared to switch over to China for. So there's a lot going on. Looking out between now, May 12th and May 15th for this volcanic eruption, either coming from Kilauea or Cumbre Vieja. Doesn't mean I'm going to ignore any other volcanoes. Recently, another volcano erupted in Indonesia, Mount Merapi or Merapi. So there's a lot going on. All these volcanoes waking up. Not all of them are posing a risk, but there are some that are, particularly Kilauea. And if Cumbre Vieja wakes up between now and the 15th of May, then that would pose a risk to the east coast of the United States. And according to the video, after the tsunami comes a submarine attack. So just be aware that if something does happen between now and the 15th, then something else is to follow after that. You guys, that's all my information for you today. Have a good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and God bless.